What's going on, guys? Carlo Macapinlac here from newbiefitnessacademy.com, and today we're going to talk about eating one meal a day, or OMAD for short, and the pros and cons of this intermittent fasting protocol. And then we're going to answer the question, because I talk about intermittent fasting a lot on my channel. Is this the most powerful intermittent fasting schedule for weight loss? Stay tuned. Okay, so about 2 years ago, I made a video about eating one meal a day for 7 days, and it got a lot of positive feedback. So this is the long-awaited sequel to that video. How do I feel about it 2 years later? What's changed? Do I still think that it's a good idea? Do I think it's a bad idea now? Should you do it? Maybe not. And I can really just go off of my own personal experience and the results of all my students inside the Fat Loss Accelerator. And they're all pretty good. So, on paper, eating one meal a day is the strongest and quite possibly the most effective way to tap into the benefits of weight loss, the human growth hormone increase, which some say is the real fountain of youth. And there's a study out there where human growth hormones were found to be as high as 2,000% from the baseline after a 24-hour fast. OMAD also gets you to tap into autophagy, which is basically a detox on a cellular level where your body destroys old and worn out cells and replaces it with new ones. And you also get the boost in energy and focus that you get from fasting. Why? Because eating one meal a day is as long as you can go all day without eating. Unless you want to go into an extended fast like 36, 48, 72 hours, all the way up to like a 7-day water fast. And I've done all those intermittent fasting protocols and I have separate videos about them, so make sure you check it out. But I'm all about the minimum effective dose here. And from a practical standpoint, going 24 hours without eating kind of starts to get in the way of your social life. Also, 4 to 8 hour fasts on a consistent basis, for example, isn't preferable because things start to taper off after a while. There is an increased limit where all the stuff that I just mentioned, the growth hormone benefits, for example, start to taper off and drop. And you don't want to go past that threshold where you start getting diminishing returns and you're not getting the benefits as effective as possible. Having said that, and I forget the doctor who said that, so I'm sorry, but he or she said that a yearly 7-day water fast is unbelievably powerful when it comes to cancer prevention. And again, this most likely has to do with autophagy that only gets activated when you're fasting. So when you do a 7-day water fast, you're basically giving your body a full 7 days to clean out all the gunk on a cellular level. And this cellular cleanup could include potential cancer cells. And this is important because according to data from 2017, cancer, next to cardiovascular disease, is the second leading cause of death in the US. So this is where the awesome benefits of fasting goes way beyond weight loss. So we want to find that fine line between getting all those amazing benefits while not being too disruptive when it comes to your lifestyle. Because at the end of the day, the number one thing that determines your success when it comes to any weight loss protocol, and this includes intermittent fasting, is adherence. How well can you follow it, and can you follow it long term? Again, the thing about eating just one meal a day is it's the ultimate food restriction per 24 hours. You literally can't go any longer than just eating one meal a day, which makes eating one meal a day possibly the most powerful intermittent fasting schedule. Because think about it this way, for 23 out of the 24 hours of the day, you are in fat burning mode. It also makes the cut in terms of you still being able to fit it into your schedule, albeit in a somewhat limited way because you have to be strategic on when you're gonna schedule that one meal. And for a lot of people, that's usually around dinner time, but that's not set in stone. For example, if it's easier for you to just eat your one meal during lunchtime or breakfast time, that's fine. And I'm gonna give you some tips here in a second on how to best incorporate it into your schedule. Because again, practicality to me is very important as well. Like, you don't want this to consume your life. Now, I think that one meal a day shines the brightest, especially in terms of fat loss compared to the other intermittent fasting schedules, because it literally says in the name itself, just eat one meal a day. That's it. I don't think it gets any simpler than that. And I always like to say that it's not about eating less, but less frequently, and eating one meal a day takes that statement to its absolute limit. So if you guys have been following my channel, you'll know that I started out doing a 16-hour fast. That's how I initially achieved my transformation, and I was very happy with my results. I mean, it changed my life. So I did that for a few years, and this is how I looked at my maintenance weight following a 16-hour fast. Again, not embarrassed to take my shirt off in public, but I felt like I could do more. And this was also the time where I was still trying to figure out what the optimal diet was to pair intermittent fasting with, because what you eat and when you eat are equally as important in terms of fat loss. So again, you gotta keep in mind that I did a 16-hour fast for years, and I started around 2012, which means that my body is used to it. I'm fat adapted, and I'm also metabolically flexible. What that means is that my body is able to tap into my fat stores and burn it for energy while I'm fasting. I want you to remember that because we're gonna come back to it. And I always like to say that fasting is like a muscle. The more you do it, the more you work out your muscle, the stronger it gets, the better you get at fasting. And I like being transparent with you guys. And I was reading through the comments in one of my videos the other day, and this person mentioned that my jawline is more defined compared to last year, which also happens to be around the time where I started experimenting with longer fasting schedules. So around that time, I decided that I'm gonna graduate myself from a 16-hour fast to a 20-hour fast. So that's more of a warrior diet style of fasting. Then I got used to it, and I was like, what the heck? Why not just try one meal a day for 7 days? And I'm like, why not just do it for, I don't know, every day moving forward? And there was definitely a little bit of an adjustment period, but my body eventually got used to it. And now, here's how I look. This is also how I look from last year to this year. Very noticeable difference, but I think my body looks a little bit better now. Now, how does this actually work in terms of real life? So again, for me these days, OMAD is my regular fasting schedule, and I usually eat around dinner time. During the day, I drink 2 cups of coffee with a tiny splash of heavy cream. I work out at noon, so if you have a 9-to-5 job, for example, and you do OMAD, maybe see if you can negotiate just working through your lunch break because you're not eating. If not, you can go for a walk or you can work out instead. And you get bonus points if you work out in a fasted state because you're mainly burning body fat for energy when you work out fasted. The key is to stay busy throughout the day. But I also understand that life also happens. Like sometimes I have a family lunch, so I'll just do a 16-hour fast that day. That's totally fine. Or maybe sometimes I have to eat dinner a little bit earlier when I have a date. That's okay too. Again, I'm a big proponent of the 90-10 rule. 90% of the time, I'm doing 1 meal a day. And that 1 meal consists of mostly unprocessed, single ingredient, nutrient dense foods. And the other 10% of the time, if I feel like eating carrot cake, I'll do it. And this is another great thing about eating 1 meal a day is it gives you so much flexibility. I mean, obviously don't abuse it. I still keep my cheat meals to just once a week because I enjoy what I normally eat during the week. But I've found OMAD to be the most powerful intermittent fasting schedule to get away with having a cheat meal and not have it affect your weight loss goals. The other thing that's worth mentioning is the added energy and laser-like focus that it's given me, because who doesn't like being more productive? And this is something that a lot of people who do OMAD mention as well. And I agree 100%. Like, when I used to do a 16-hour fast and I broke my fast at 1 p.m., I would have my first meal. I always feel like I needed a nap afterwards. When I switched to OMAD, I rarely feel the need to nap these days, which means that I can do more work. And I also feel extra focused throughout the day. And this most likely has to do with the natural survival instinct that gets triggered when you put your body in a fasted state, which flies in the face of the anti-fasting crowd whenever they say that fasting will somehow slow down your metabolism or it puts you in starvation mode. No, it's the complete opposite. You can find multiple studies out there that shows that fasting actually increases your metabolism, because one of the benefits of fasting is improved insulin sensitivity, which then gives you access to your almost unlimited supply of energy in the form of body fat. So how could that put you in starvation mode? That almost sounds silly. Do you know what actually puts you in starvation mode and what actually lowers your metabolism? A calorie restriction diet. And think about it this way as well. Think about the last time you had a huge meal. Like, think about your last Thanksgiving meal, for example. How did you feel afterwards? Were you alert and focused? No, it's the complete opposite. You were in a food coma. All you wanted to do was lie down and watch football. When you fast, your focus and energy goes up because, again, this is a survival mechanism through evolution. Because when we're hunting and we haven't eaten all day, if our metabolism slowed down, if we had no energy, that would have been the end of our species. So again, eating 1 meal a day gives you that nice little bonus. And if you're worried about not being able to build muscle when you follow this protocol, you want to be big and strong, and you don't have to take me as an example, even though I'm a national level weightlifter who just eats 1 meal a day. You can take it from an elite multi-sport athlete instead. And if you're from North America who watches football, then look no further than Herschel Walker. Guess how long he's been eating 1 meal a day? Maybe 20 days, 20 weeks, 20 months? Nope. Over 20 years. He played college football and then transitioned to the pros. And then he transitioned to MMA fighting while just eating 1 meal a day. And not to mention, he looks like an action figure. So that kind of disproves the argument that you can't get all your nutrients from just eating 1 meal. Simply put, eating 1 meal a day, if your goal is fat loss, and hey, maybe building muscle as well, is one of the most powerful methods that you can use. So again, the 16-8 is the minimum effective dose. So I recommend it to all beginners so they can get into the world of intermittent fasting. So, just skip breakfast. Now, would I recommend eating 1 meal a day right away? Absolutely not. There are levels to this. You need to be fat adapted and metabolically flexible first. Otherwise, it's gonna be way too stressful to your body. And you do that by eating a diet that moderates your insulin levels and making proper supportive lifestyle choices that upregulate your fat burning metabolism, like introducing movement throughout the day. And I've been talking about walking a lot lately, so that's great for that. Doing resistance training to build lean muscle mass. proper sleep hygiene, and managing stress levels to help regulate important hormones in your body. All those things make you fat adapted and metabolically flexible. If you do all those things and then you start intermittent fasting, so start with a 16-hour fast, then eventually you work up to 1 meal a day, and again, you're eating a lot of single ingredient, mostly unprocessed, nutrient-dense foods, you're eating a lot of green leafy vegetables, you're eating a lot of healthy fats, and you're getting enough protein, you've just unlocked the blueprint to fat loss. So, is eating 1 meal a day the most powerful intermittent fasting schedule for weight loss? I think so. Is it the best? If you can make it work with your schedule, I personally don't think there's a limit to how much fat you can lose by following this protocol. The next question then becomes, how are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because here's the thing, 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. You can't just freestyle this part. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I melted all the fat around my stomach without depriving myself of my favorite foods or wasting hours at the gym. It's a simple 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals, and it's the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my private coaching clients, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. All right, that's all I've got. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week. And hey, leave a comment below if you have any questions about this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. First, a high five.